What's up, grinders? I'm going to try and keep this video super short and explain to you how to truly improve your speaking capabilities and automate the process. Now, before I go into my preferred methodology, I'm going to talk about the main two that everyone talks about and goes to war over. The first being the grammatical-based approach, and the second one being the mass input-based approach. So the grammatical approach is, as most of you probably well aware of by now, is that you learn all the rules, you learn the exceptions, and then real time, while speaking to someone, you try to actually implement these rules and exceptions. Now, obviously, this takes a lot of mental energy, and by the time you can actually formulate a sentence, you're usually way beyond the point of where you need that sentence. Maybe the people have left the room, you're standing there, it's dark, you're alone, you have no friends anymore. The second based approach is a mass input based approach. And basically what you do is you sit there and you watch insane, obscene amounts of content to the point where you understand the language quite well, and then you start speaking with the hope that it's just going to automatically all come out. Now, some people throw in extra stuff, like some sentence mining on top, some shadowing, all these types of things, but it's more of like a hope-based methodology and believing in, the process. Now, the method that I prefer kind of takes the best of both worlds, but it's got also the best of both worlds, I guess. So it's called a template-based approach. Now, you probably heard of this before, but maybe not, so I figured I would share it with you. Now, a template-based approach works like this. You get a sentence structure. So you get an entire sentence, and you're trying to learn the underlying structure of the sentence. You don't care about the grammar, the rules that are being applied here. You just want to learn the structure as it is, and you take one component of that sentence, let's call it the variable component, and you swap that out. And you practice that sentence over and over with that one component being swapped out over and over and over. Now, to give you guys a good example of how this works, I'm actually going to show you this in code because I've been designing my own flashcard system to help improve my Chinese speaking capabilities. I actually did this a long time ago in Esperanto for myself and some other languages, but this is how I would do it in Chinese. So if we take a look at my screen right here, I've got a sentence, I am terribly sad. And in this sentence, yeah, I'm very sad, I'm going to use sad as the variable component. So that means it could be, I am terribly sad, I am terribly happy, I'm terribly hungry, I'm terribly thirsty. As you can see now, there's a pattern that's happening here. And with the English sentence, it is I am terribly adjective, okay? Now, with the Chinese sentence, you'll notice that the structure is different. It first starts with I, and then it ends with terribly. So it goes, 我 something, 得不得了, and this is where template-based approaches really shine, because when you practice this, the first time, it's going to be a little bit slow. You're going to go, okay, well, I know the template is 我 something 得不得了. Okay, so I'm trying to say sad, so it'll be 我难过得不得了. Okay, so it's not so hard now. And in fact, this is a structure that I literally learned today, so this is not something I'm good with. And then the program will ask me back, okay, how do you say you're terribly sad? Good. How do you say you're terribly thirsty? Good. How do you say you're terribly hungry? Good. And I'll keep doing this over and over until I get sick of it and I close it, type of thing. And the benefit here is that it becomes very quick to automate an entire structure. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, okay, well, what happens with exceptions? Like, for example, maybe if I slot in a certain adjective, it actually changes the whole structure of the sentence. Well, in that case, what you do is you just build a different template. It's easy enough. And now some of you might be thinking, yeah, but that's a lot of templates. Like a language is really complex. Yeah, it is. But focus on the parts where you actually struggle. So there's going to be lots of parts of a language where you get it pretty quickly. Maybe the input works, maybe the grammar works, you get it quite quickly. Maybe it just comes natural to you. But then there's going to be other parts that are the difficult, hard stickers. Or the parts that you actually know, like you can hear them, but you just never used them before because, well, you never naturally felt like you were in the right situation to use them, but you were many times. You just found a different route to say that thing. For example, in this sentence here where I am terribly sad, there's many ways to say that in Chinese, but I really wanted to practice this specific structure, so I've created this. And funnily enough, I was practicing this morning, and then I was talking with my wife, and this structure just naturally came out in conversation. I didn't even intend it, it just seemed to pop out of my head. Now, the good thing with this is you make it really simple. One variable component, okay? And then over time, when you get good with it, you could swap out the second part. That could be the I, the pronoun. That'd be a super easy part, but that could be a second variable component of the sentence. Then, as you practice more and more structures, you can start stringing them together type of thing. You probably don't even need to do this in an application. It'll probably just automatically come to you. And as you can see right here, I've done this for a lot of different structures. I actually only wrote this over like the last day and a half, but like basically to focus on the things that I want to improve. Like I wanted to improve my adverb placement, like because for some reason I keep randomly slotting adverbs at the end of sentences when I shouldn't be. No matter how much input I've done, it seems for some reason I've been doing that. So like this is a good way to just improve on those little mistakes that you make. Now finally, I know some of you might be sitting there and going, okay, but how do I know if what I'm putting in here is right? Well, this is where you take from the input-based approach. Watch content. When you start seeing a pattern that you want to actually practice and learn, take that pattern, make a note of it where every time you see it. Once you've got a couple examples of it, maybe go look it up, check out the grammar. You'll usually find lots more examples in that way, and then build it here. Now, you don't have to do it in code. You could do this on paper as well. You could literally have a sentence where, you know, 我 X 得不得了 type of thing. And then you go, okay, let's think of 3 adjectives that I can slot in here and just say the sentence, boom, boom, boom. So it doesn't have to be in code. You could do it in a flashcard program. You could build 6 sentences, swap it into a flashcard program. But I figured this is just a good way of exempling it, giving it an example of it. And as you can see right here, this is my English adjective, and here's all the different adjectives that it's slotting in. Boom, 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 boom. There's a lot of different adjectives. And I've run this through like 30 times today, and pretty much every structure I added in today I've almost automated already. Like it's a really good way of automating this type of stuff because your brain loves patterns. It doesn't like rules, okay? Your brain doesn't like rules, it loves patterns. This is where the pure input crowd get a lot of things right. It loves seeing patterns, but the problem is that you wait a long time to hear these patterns. The benefit here is you can give it the pattern, show it the pattern, practice the pattern all at once, and then boom, you're settled. You don't have to like just hope that it appears, and you don't have to apply rules. Now, some of you might be wondering if you can get your hands on this. I don't know, I may release this in the future, but it is designed specifically for myself to improve my own Chinese, but maybe eventually once it gets really good, I'll make a Git repo and I'll give it for free or whatever. If I do, I'll mention it in the Discord and I'll hand out links to people type of thing. It's not something I'll ever like, you know, put for sale anywhere because it's like a terribly written program. But anyway, that's pretty much it. If you've liked this video, like it, sub to the channel, and join the Discord if you haven't already. That will be in the pinned comment below. And if there's any videos you want me to review, because I do a lot of those on this channel, let me know down below. See you all next time.